Last time, I introduced you to 5 non-mainstream Japanese artists who are not manga artists. So, no Murakami, no Yayoi, no Hokusai. I'm trying to expose Japanese artists who deserve recognition in the West. So here, 5 Japanese artists you can brag about. Hello everyone, I'm Goten. I studied Japanese language and culture for years and I happen to quite like art. So without further ado, let's start with
Yamamoto Takato.
Yamamoto Takato is a long-time favorite of mine. He mixes ukiyo-e and contemporary practices. Just so you know, ukiyo-e is emblematic of the Edo period. But you might notice something feels special with his art. This is because I'm sparing some of you sensitive souls from his edgy pieces. In other words, he dabbles in eroguro, coming from erotic and grotesque. This scene emerged in the early 20th century, more especially during the 20s. A lot of popular novels and horror fictions revolved around that concept. This artistic current is still ongoing nowadays, and I'm pretty sure artists like Ito Junji fits the genre. Correct me if I'm wrong though. And I don't know, ever heard about visual kei? Actually, I find his eroguro art to be far from being grotesque. By that I mean, look at how fine each line is. Yes, the themes are crude. It depicts violent scenes, shocking images, but the way it is painted has something so special. It looks like the man is into dungeon crawling, if you know what I mean, but can't say for sure if his art is autobiographical or not. Let's not speculate, because the people who speculate are also the ones preventing you from accessing affordable housing, quality education, and free healthcare. Let's not get into politics. As you'll see, references to religion and history often appear in Yamamoto Takato's art, such as this one called 1637年の Shimabara no Ran, or the Shimabara Rebellion of 1637. If you want to know more about this historical episode, I invite you to watch the movie Makai Tensho, which means
the demonic realm of Tensho period.
But in English it's known as Samurai Resurrection. I don't know how the hell they came up with that translation, but hey, whatever. If you like Onimusha games, you'll feel right at home with that movie, and it's made by Fukasaku Kinji, who made Battle Royale. Next one.
Tsuruta Ichirou.
Now it's some more gentle and calm style and a huge focus on women. Tsuruta Ichirou is said to be a bijinga artist. Bijinga means pictures of beautiful women. If you're a Japanese speaker or learning Japanese, you may see that the kanji are not implying women at any given moment. Literally, bijin should mean beautiful person, but I guess to the eyes of unscient Japanese, men looked like shit. By the way, bijinga is inherent to ukiyo-e and started emerging during the same period. Most often, Tsuruta Ichirou uses bright and flat colors. It brings up the contour of the subject, always representing elegant women, both wearing wafuku or yofuku, basically Japanese fashion and Western fashion. Sometimes it has that Audrey Hepburn vibe, but what I like most is how sensible it feels, almost fragile, but the confidence in each line is astonishing. I'm especially fan of how he makes the hair float. Tsuruta Ichirou also does kind of suggestive paintings, but it's always subtle, maybe a bit lewd or playful. Other than bijinga, he also dabbles in religious themes, as with his Buddhist painting. Here, for example, a portrait of Kannon. Kannon, or Kanzeon Bosatsu, or Avalokiteshvara, which is the Bodhisattva of compassion and is worshipped by Mahayana and Vajrayana traditions. But what's a Bodhisattva, you may ask? A Bodhisattva is someone who reached the enlightenment. He basically became like Buddha, but he declined his own access to the nirvana and stayed in the cycle of samsara to help others reach enlightenment. Now, if you want to know what's the cycle of samsara and what is the nirvana, I'll have to make a whole video. Or just play Silent Hill 2. The artist also depicts Buddha as a woman. In Japanese Buddhism, it is commonplace that Amida is represented with feminine features. Just quickly, Amida is considered as the cosmic helper, kind of badass. And yeah, Amida is Buddha. Damn, I really have to make a video about Buddhism, and especially Buddhism in Japan. I've got my idea on what this painting refers to, but can't say for sure. It just kinda stands out of his body of work in an unexpected way. And that landscape looks cool.
Ikenaga Yasunari.
Here we got another Bijinga artist. For a while I thought he mixed acrylic with patchworks or something like fabric, and when doing my researches I discovered I was actually not far from reality. He uses minimal pigments and soot ink on dyed linen clothes. Unlike Buddhism, I have no idea what I'm talking about with soot ink, but let's proceed. Just to put it quickly, it's a traditional technique which he uses with a contemporary approach. The colors are not mute but not flashy either, as you can see. In the art of Ikenaga Yasunari, his subjects are often asleep or maybe pretending to. They're lying, dreaming under the bedsheets. It's like a break for us who get to see it. The serene gaze of a woman suddenly becomes a window into another world. You look at her, she looks at you, you forget yourself. Each portrait is a soft song in which each silence becomes a universal word. Tranquility. Her lips, her hands, her eyebrows. Everything is thought and composed and I don't know, polished. I'm not really good at talking about art actually, but there's a strong and powerful atmosphere in Ikenaga Yasunari's art. The plants, the poses, it's like a portal. But isn't every art piece kind of a portal anyway? And this cat.
Hattori Naoto.
Now, before we start, I want to play a game. Tell me what's the relation between a Swiss scientist riding a bicycle and this painter. I give you 5 seconds to answer. If you know what I mean by Swiss scientist riding a bicycle, you already have the answer. It's either you know or you don't type of question. I'm not speculating, I swear. But have you seen how super precise and accurate his art is? All while being surreal, almost uncanny sometimes. But also, he does kind of cute creatures too. You'll see in a minute, or less. Depends on how fast I speak. Hattori Naoto is, among all the artists here, the one I believe to be the most prolific. At least that's what it looks like to me. Let's just agree that they're all prolific. I actually have a hard time talking about his type of art. I deem myself not worth analyzing art made by a genius. Everything is meticulous. There are not mistakes to be found. The technical mastery is gigantic and does serve the purpose of the artist. He captures what he perceives in his mind without any compromise. In this distorted reality, nightmares and dreams coexist. Yes, it is uncanny, but it still sends you a warm invite into suspended wonder, and I don't think there is a coming back. Once you're up there, you don't come back. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I cannot act like I'm surprised just for the sake of entertainment, because I'm kinda used to what he creates. I mean, he is one of my favorite artists after all. But at the same time, I keep on being surprised with his art, even if I come back to a piece that I saw a billion times, it still amazes me. Come on, let's get amazed together. I'm taking a few seconds to thank you for making it this far in the video. I'm Goten, not related to Dragon Ball Z, sorry, maybe I'll tell you why and how in the future. I'm into art and weird stuff, and welcome to the party. You see, I don't usually ask you to subscribe and shit. I believe if you really like what I'm doing and acknowledge my knowledge, you will subscribe whether I ask you or not anyway. But I'm a huge gambler. I want to take the bet. This channel will reach 1,000 subscribers before 2027. So I'd like to invite you to come back every week, every now and then, just to see if I'm going to lose my bet or not. Okay, actually, I'm not a gambler at all. So now, let me introduce you to
Numao Reiko.
Numao Reiko means oil paint. She also has an impressive background in illustration too, though you'll see her latest work tends to detach from her early phase. The farther it goes, the more surreal, abstract, and perhaps even a bit more colorful it becomes. At some point, the abstraction starts reminding us of flesh. It becomes somewhat slightly gore. Or is it just me? I'm not sure what I'm exactly looking at when I look at her art. It is full of surprise, and I cannot speak for Numao Reiko, but I can speak about how her art makes me feel. Maybe the artist mourns the distance between us and nature. If it is flesh, then this flesh is ours. As in, nature is within us and we're all part of it. But each of these animals is a witness. They're looking at us, at our history. They see us drifting while they become more and more noble. She paints the borders of thoughts, and thoughts dissolve into instinct. It is not a dream but a return. I'm sorry, I'm being cryptic. Expressing feeling is art. That's why so many people draw and paint, make music, do things. Even for artists, it is still a hard task. So imagine a world where art is meaningless, where art is just a product by a marketing team behind industrial lords with no emotional value whatsoever, and just here so those lords can keep on selling it to each other. Every time the price doubles, it's just here to create money. That's why I embrace art like the one of Numao Reiko. It's like the many artworks we discuss here, a portal. Yet it only leads to a reflection of our world. Her art has this primitive heartbeat translated into a modern language, and it never judges. No, it understands us. It is like a gift to us simple humans. Do we understand it? I don't know. But I'd rather sound insecure and uncertain a billion times rather than asserting whatever idea I found to a vulnerable soul. That's why I simply invite you to dive with me in Numao Reiko's world, where everything has yet to be discovered. She's an emerging artist, but I'd gladly follow her through whatever dark cave, because she's already showing signs that she's heading to the exit. Well, at least that's my interpretation. Shit, I gotta stop speculating if I don't want to end up in one of the 64 something hells inherent to Buddhism. You will find all of those artists' links to their websites and or socials in the description as always. If you missed the first video, here for you. Until then, scratch some paper, eat panzerotti, and see you next time.